Hello, welcome to the Green Table. I am Merrie Allen, and tonight we're going to talk about finances in your marriage. But before we get to that, we need to talk about the 4 questions that you should ask, 4 financial questions you should ask your intended, your significant other, or that person you're planning to spend the rest of your life with. Okay. Actually, I'm going to split this up into 2 sessions. I'm going to talk about the questions or the topics that are most important before you get married. And I don't think I'm going to have time in this video to get into the marriage part of it, but that is going to be just equally important. There's some dynamic topics that you need to know once you're married. Okay, what do we do now? But tonight, I started out wanting to do it in one session, but it just won't be enough because there's so much information here. So what I'm going to do tonight is focus on the 4 questions you should ask before you get married. Okay, so let's jump right into it. If you know somebody that might be interested in this topic, you want to go ahead and share this video with them. And also you guys may want to subscribe because you don't want to miss the next video on marriage and money after the I do. So tonight let's focus on the before I do. I'm not going to give you the 4 questions right off the bat because I need to lead into this, because if I jump right in with the 4 questions, you're going to turn the video off. So I'm going to prime you for those. Okay, so first of all, let me give you some stats, because stats are always good. In America, divorce takes place every 13 seconds. 13 seconds. Every 13 seconds, someone is getting divorced. The time that it takes for an actual wedding ceremony, 4 or 5 hours or what have you, 1,385 people were finalizing their divorce within that 4 or 5 hours. So that's crazy, right? So what are some of the reasons this is happening? That's a lot of divorces. Statistics, they always say that half of marriages end in divorce, but technically, well, most of the studies that I've done, it really puts it at about 38 to 40%. So, but whether it's 38% or 50%, that's a lot of divorces. So we need to understand, or how do we prevent getting to that point? Money is a big part of it. Any study that you research or that you read or money is going to be in the top 3 reasons for divorce. Top 3 never fails. It might be, some studies may give it number 1, some number 2, some number 3, but it depends on, what group they've questioned, or, dynamics of the pool that they had for the survey or whatever. But you're always going to find money in the top 3. So it's a big to do. The recent study that I read had infidelity as number 1. No surprise. Money is number 2. And the lack of communication. I'm going to say poor communication, because there's always communication. Even if the couples are being silent, they're communicating something even in the silence. So poor communication. And then in the list, it also had not being prepared. And that's where this topic falls in, not being prepared to handle those financial situations that come up, or the financial topics that should be talked about prior to marriage. So that when you're married and you start trying to make some decisions on, okay, how we're going to keep our bank account, who's going to take care of the money, or are we going to have his, hers, and ours? How are we going to handle debt? How are we going to make financial decisions? All that we're going to put in the next video. But those are the type of things that once you get this part down, that part won't be so terrible. Okay, so financial compatibility is extremely important. Okay, when we do our list of must-haves for our significant other, and they got to be this, they got to be that, they got to be tall, dark, and handsome, they have to make me laugh, because if they gonna make me laugh, then we're not gonna be compatible. They have to, I don't know, have all these characteristics that we put into it, physical, or the character or whatever. We have our list. But very rarely do we say, we have to be compatible financially. That's something that we unfortunately discover along the way, and it may not be so positive all the time. So when you put your list together, ladies and men, on your list, near the top of the list, should be financial compatibility, given the fact that so many divorces end as a result of financial conflicts. Okay, so make that a part of your list. So, why is it the one area that couples don't check for though? The compatibility factor. Because what? Because money is like a taboo. Like, you don't talk about money. You don't talk about your salary. And the reason people don't do it is because money in this society has come to define who we are. You know, if you make a little bit of money, or if you make $35,000 a year as opposed to $114,000 a year, you know, people may look at you a certain way. You know, oh, she ain't all that. You know, that salary, or he ain't all that, or, you know, and they're making six figures. Oh yeah, he cool. You know, and we tie so much of our self-worth of ourselves and then our outlook on what people do by the salary. So money has become like a taboo subject that you don't talk about. And so as couples, it just carries over. You know, we talk about the fun we had. We went on our date. We went out of town. We did this. We did that. Girl, it was so much fun. But you never really talk about the money part of it, because, you know, you just don't want people to look at you, you know, with the side eye or whatever. So, but how do you prepare yourself to deal with the inevitable, you know, what's going to be an issue, what may be an issue down the road? It all starts now when you're trying to get yourself together financially, or get on the same page or what have. It's not going to start after the I do. You know when it starts? When you're dating. So when you're dating someone, that's the time where you need to observe like how they behave with money. You know, what is their relationship with money? You have to observe their spending and their saving habits. You know, do they have goals? Are they working toward any financial goals? Are they a spender? Do they spend their whole paycheck? You know, they get paid on Friday. Are they broke on Thursday? You know, how does this person deal? Are they resourceful? You know, if somebody's in a situation where they themselves, you know, maybe their hours get downsized, how do they make it? How do they push through? You know, how are they resourceful enough to kind of make things happen when it seems like things can't happen? These are the kind of things you want to observe, and you can only observe these types of things if you're spending time, or you have spent an important amount of time, a lengthy amount of time with this person, because you need to have time to see them work through these different issues. Like, what is their attitude toward things or gifts, so to speak. So if it's, let's say, you know, the guy goes out, he buys the girl a nice gift, you know, is she appreciative, or is she looking at the price tag, or vice versa? If he looking at the price tag, you know, to see how much it costs, what's the value, the monetary value of the gift, as opposed to, you know, what's the meaning, the heart value of the gift that you've been given, or that you're giving. So those are the kind of things. Is a person materialistic? You know, are they a label, you know, a label hunter? You know, does everything have to be top notch, top dollar? These are the kinds of things you want to observe, because there may be some behaviors that you may decide that you just don't want as part of your life, you know, and that's the time when you can, you know, when you're deciding, can he have a conversation, or, you know, does he read, or, you know, does he like to have fun? Does he like to go to amusement parks? Does he like the jazz? I mean, whatever it is, you need to also look at these other things. You know, how does he feel about money, or is he generous? Is he or she stingy? Okay, these are some of the kind of things you want to observe. And again, don't forget the goals. So now we know where all that starts. You know, I said in dating, when we're supposed to have these, you know, these observations. Now, I didn't say conversations. I didn't say, you know, what's your spending habit? What's your this, that, or the other? Not yet, because we're just in the early dating stage, getting to know one another. So you want to find out all these things on the low, so to speak. That's why I said observe as you're dating. You know, don't, well, you too materialistic, or you this or you that. No, shut it. Men and women, eyes open. Just sit back, observe what they're doing. Okay, observe how they're spending. Are they always broke? You're going to observe. You're not going to ask the question. Just you will learn a lot by just sitting back, and just watching how they act, how they interact with individuals, or how they interact in a money situation. Do they freak out, over small, minor things related to money? Are they always broke? Are they asking you for money? I mean, I'm just saying, these are the kinds of things you need to put, file it back a little bit in the back of your mind as you're going through this dating phase, so that you will know whether these are some of the things you can get around, you can deal with, maybe yes, maybe not. But then before you get your emotions and everything involved, and before you get emotionally attached, then if these are behaviors that you can't deal with or live with down the road, then it could be a deal breaker. But at this point, you really don't have a deal. You just kind of dating, you kind of filling each other out. However, at some point, this relationship, if you can get past whatever those financial issues are, behaviors are, at some point, it's going to start getting serious. And that's when you want to actually start having conversations about money. And if it's getting to the point where, okay, this looks like it could really be going somewhere. This might really be a life partner for me. Here are the 4 questions and conversations that need to be had between you and your significant other who are actually going somewhere in the relationship. Excuse me. Number 1, what are your financial assets? Your savings, your investments, property. These are things you need to know if it's somebody you think that you are moving towards a permanent relationship, i.e. marriage with someone. What assets do you have? What are you bringing to the table? Okay. Not necessarily that it's a deal breaker if they have nothing, but you need to have it all on the table so you will know what you're dealing with. Okay. How much debt do you have? Credit card debt, car debt, student loan debt, any personal loans? What do you have hanging out there that may affect our goals, or what it is that we may want to do in the future that's going to cost us money? Where is your money tied into? Now, this is both. This is not just the woman asking the man. You are asking each other these questions because both parties need to know, put it all out on the table and know what they're working with. Third question, what's your income? What are you making? Again, I need to know what we're dealing with here. If we're going to make plans to, buy a home or whatever it is you want to do, have children at some point in the future, or build a business together, whatever it is you're going to do, you have to have a ground zero. You need to know where you're starting from. What's your reference point? Okay, this is what we have. This is where we want to go. This is what we have to work with to get us where we want to go. Okay, very important. And then lastly, one of the things you want to do is each of you want to pull each other's or pull the credit reports, because you can tell me all day long what your situation is, and I can choose to believe you or not believe you or whatever the case. But when we pull our credit reports and our credit scores, we're going to sit down and what have we here? Let's see. So you're going to go through those together with one another. Okay. Now I know some of y'all may be thinking that's a little too deep. I don't know. Or you may have jacked up credit scores and you're like, there's no way I'm sharing my credit score with this dude, or there's no way I'm showing this person my credit report. But transparency, why would you not? Why would you go into a marriage and then, you guys are trying to get credit somewhere, you're trying to, do some things, buy a house, get a mortgage or whatever, and lo and behold, oh, well, disqualified because, your credit score doesn't meet the criteria or what have you. What do you mean your credit score doesn't meet? Oh, my bad. I got to get my report. That must be a mistake. No, we don't want any surprises after the I do. That's why we're putting it all out on the table up front. Okay. Now, again, when you're transparent and you're putting everything on the table, it doesn't mean it's necessarily has to be a deal breaker, especially if you've already made the commitment, you've already did the whole engagement thing, and you're not married yet, but you made the commitment. That is the absolute prime time to get everything out on the table. I remember years ago, my best friend, who is now going on to be with the Lord, but before she was getting married, we had this conversation about the student loans, and she was like, "Do I have to like tell them all about my student loans? I can just take care of that myself." I'm like, "Girl, you getting married? Yeah, you gotta tell them about your student loans. Duh. I mean, that's a debt. No one wants to be surprised that you have this huge debt or whatever once you go into the marriage. I mean, come on." So those are the 4 questions. What are your assets? Find out what the assets are, what the debt is. You need to know where your money is going to be directed. What is your income? And what's your credit score, and pull our credit reports. Let's review our credit reports. Now, I would say normally if you're already committed to somebody, you love them, all that, it's just a matter of, baby, how we going to work through this. But then I also had, not necessarily a friend, but I overheard a conversation once where the guy was telling another guy that before he had gotten married or asked his significant other to become engaged, that he was adamant that she was going to pay off her student loans before he would marry her, and actually told the woman this, like, "No, you got to clear that up before we get married." I don't know how I feel about that. What about y'all? Like, I don't know. I mean, so what would happen if she chose not to pay her student loans before they got married? So would they not get married? I don't know. But these are the conversations you need to have, and don't be embarrassed. And if somebody gets upset, if the person gets upset because you're asking these questions, then what does that say? I'm just saying, we should be able to talk about everything. We should be able to be transparent with one another. And if the person is not willing to do that, then, it's a red pen, but that's a little red flag. You might want to take note of that. Again, so one of the ways that you can start getting in the married money mode, I should say, is when you're engaged and you start putting your wedding plans and all that stuff together. Prime time to observe one another and how you all deal with money, because you're going to want to get a budget. Okay, how much do we want to spend on our wedding? You get that, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, whatever it is you want to spend. And then watch and work with each other and observe how you guys actually manage that. Is one person going off the chain and want to get, somebody famous to come in and do the entertainment or what have you? If that's not in your budget, nor if somebody else wants to just, well, let's just have, popcorn and Kool-Aid. I mean, I'm just saying, that's an extreme, I would hope. But these are the things that you're going to have to work through as you work through your budget. And that's practice of how you're going to behave in your marriage, financially speaking. So it's a good practice for you guys to work that together. Don't let just one person take, whatever and do it all themselves. And this is what we have. No, everybody needs to be involved. Both of you need to be involved in the planning, and you need to be involved in the finances. And remember, don't go overboard. That's a whole other chapter we can talk about, going overboard on the nuptial planning. And I did not know that there is what they're calling an engagement planner. Like, you have the wedding planner. Like, there's these planners you can get. I guess you can get a planner for any event, but really an engagement planner. I didn't know that till I was writing the book Money Management Wisdom for Millennials, and I was doing some research on some of the costs of weddings and different things. And they said, don't forget to figure in the engagement planner. I guess this is the planner that goes and creates the event, or creates the atmosphere that you want. You come up with a plan or a program or whatever it is, a theme. Oh, I want to take my baby on the mountain and this, that, and the other. And they plan all this stuff for you. That's a cost. And then there's the actual, wedding planner. And then there's the ring. And then, there's all these expenses. So observe, when you guys are working together, how you deal with that. And ladies, don't be upset if you don't get a 2-carat diamond. I'm just saying, it And men, observe too. If you go and get this diamond ring or whatever it is, you think she desires for her wedding ring, and because I've seen this happen too. I've seen women be disappointed, like with the ring, because the person didn't spend a lot of money on the ring. It was a nice ring. It was cute, but they were actually like disappointed. And my thing is, what does it matter what it costs? I know I'm old school, whatever, but really, we got to get out of the idea of equating cost with love, or the extent of the love that the person has for you. Don't make your man, or don't let your man go into debt, because that's debt y'all gonna have to clean up. Y'all got to deal with that in your marriage. So don't expect him or make him think that you're expecting this ring that's $40,000 and he's making $60,000. That's just crazy. And I know there's this rule, 2 to 3 months or 2 months of his salary or what have you, but that could be really expensive on somebody. So ladies, give the guys a break on this darn engagement ring. I know it's a big deal, it's a big to do, but would you rather have money, a down payment to put on a house? I mean, I would rather spend a lot of money instead of putting it all into your wedding, plan something very nice, and then take the money that you may save or people are giving you or whatever, and put a down payment in the house, do some investments, or, save it, or, build your emergency fund and stuff like that. You guys are going to have plenty of time to enjoy your life together. But starting out, you don't want to start with a boatload of debt, starting your marriage out. You don't want to start out struggling in debt. That's just not sexy at all. Okay. I'm just saying. So those are the 4 questions. Don't forget those. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to ask. And the bottom line and the principle I want to leave you with is in the Bible, where it says, how can two people cannot walk together unless they agree. That's in the book of Amos, chapter 3. You can't walk together in unity, in harmony, unless you agree. And that doesn't mean, agreeing on, how we're going to, raise our kids, or what kind of couch we're going to buy or whatever. No, those are important too. But financially speaking, you guys have to be on the same page with your financial goals, kind of with your financial attitude, so to speak. And it's okay if you disagree a bit here or there, but the important part is that you're in sync enough to know how to resolve the issues that come up, as opposed to going to your separate corners and not talking about it, or having poor communication, or getting frustrated with one another and then cussing somebody out because they burned the bologna for your fried bologna sandwich, when it really is not about the bologna, it's about everything else that's going on. So before it gets to that point, you two have to learn how to walk together and agree, and then agree on how to disagree. So that's it for this video, and I hope you got something out of it. Share it. Don't forget to share, subscribe to it, and don't forget, go to moneymanagementwisdom.net. I can't get everything in here. So if you want to book a workshop, go to my webpage, moneymanagementwisdom.net. There's a space where you can go and put in your information and request a workshop. You can request for me to come and speak to your group or what have you at church, or your community event, or your book club, or your men's group, or your women's group, whatever it is. I will come and I can do a workshop, or I can speak, or what have you, because these videos, I'm telling you, they don't do it justice. And I want you to remember some of the stuff that I got out of my talk tonight for the I do's is in my book, Money Management Wisdom for Millennials. And don't forget, my second book is Money Management Wisdom, 8 Steps to Living Your Best Life. And you can find both these books on Amazon.com. And also remember, I am running a drawing for some free gifts. So you'll get all of these gifts if you go and order either one of the books on Amazon. This is a nice little t-shirt. Love this shirt. Love the color. And you'll also get a little journal to write in. You'll get the Money Management Wisdom pen and bookmark. And this book also, 30 Days to Taming Your Finances. All you have to do to get all of these items is order the book, take a selfie, post it on the Money Management Wisdom Facebook page, and you will be entered for a drawing on September 27th for these items, and I will mail these to you. So that's the green table for today. Don't forget to share the video, and have a great rest of your week. Friday is tomorrow, baby. Yeah.